Good morning, afternoon, and evening, wherever you are, and welcome to our NerdTube spoiler review discussion debate of Daredevil episode 5 and 6. Daredevil Born Again, that is episode 5 and 6. Sorry for not coming to you live last week. Myself and Chito, we had personal grievances. Just to let people know, my father has died. Obviously, that's enough of a reason why we didn't come on. And Chito himself had a beloved uncle who also passed away as well. But we're back now to start talking Daredevil. Very briefly on episode 4, Cheetah, we had Punisher come back for a brief cameo, Frank Castle and all, but not much came from that really. That was the only
Yeah,
most
I
significant
felt
thing.
like that part of the episode was very tacked on. I liked it. I thought it was a very good part of the episode. And I see why Josh Brenthal didn't he originally said he was not coming back for Daredevil Born Again because what they gave him was kind of a betrayal of the Frank Castle character. Only when they let him come in and kind of write not write the stuff but do something that he approved of would he come back and do it. And honestly, I think that was good because it was a really good part, with Frank Castle. Even though it felt tacked on, I still really enjoyed it. But that's
This is
really it for
why
that episode.
I'm looking forward to the special feature, which will be written by him because he knows his character, and he's very good at playing these sort of aggressive roles. Oh yeah, the other thing as well is Michael Gandolfini's character having to redeem himself, I guess, on episode 4 after giving away secrets regarding the Kingpin and his ideal ordeals, and obviously Kingpin being the guy who's holding Adam hostage, Adam being the lover of Vanessa,
Which we
and
all
starting
knew.
to
He was
eat.
either dead or he had him, one of the two.
But then you saw his meal as well, which was pasta and sausages.
Hmm.
Yeah, he's looking to bulk up. But okay, episode 5 was our bottle episode, would you say?
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah,
That is
and it was
titled
a
With
good one.
Interest.
It was a good one in my opinion. And there's Yusuf Khan. People don't know who he is. That is Ms. Marvel's dad, Kamala Khan's father. He played the assistant bank manager of the bank that Matt Murdock is trying to get a loan from. And in this bank, some bank robbers break in and steal a particular item from this bank. They're all wearing different colored hoods. They're all holding AR-15s and stuff like that. And Matt Murdock, being in that bank, well, he's outside the bank, but he hears the commotion and decides to come back in. Knows that, and he's cool as ice. Basically, saves the day in a long-winded fashion. I enjoyed this episode. We got to see Matt Murdock being. Now you could tell he was in complete control of what was going on. He wasn't phased. He wanted to help, and just when you thought he was out, they pulled me back in, and that's that Daredevil moment as well. Like regardless of him not putting on the scowl, he will always be the Daredevil. Whether he's wearing the red suit or not. And this was him in Daredevil mode, what he was doing. It was an excellent episode. Look, even though this was a bottle episode, there things do come out from it because there was this yellow diamond, which does play a part. I don't know what it's all about. Obviously, I think Vanessa wanted it,
No, it
but why
was
did it?
well, no. Do you want me to explain it really quick?
Yeah,
Um
please.
so what was going on, and they do explain it, I think, a little bit in the next episode, is that diamond, and I read this somewhere actually. The diamond that they were trying to steal was gonna, I think, what they were gonna use to pay the 1.8 million. Remember that the king, that
Oh
Mayor
yes, yes,
Fisk told
yes,
the
yeah.
one people to pay the other people. I don't remember who was paying who, but so they were originally, I think they were going to use that because it was worth 1.8 million or whatever, and they were going to use that to pay off the debt. And then that goes into the next episode when, obviously tracksuit guy or whatever he was. I don't know. I'm not keeping track of the tracksuit mafia and all these other gangs. I don't care about that really. Honestly, they're not really holding my interest. But he did mention something about not paying it back. And I read an article that said that that was what it was for. Now, I might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure I read that, and it makes sense. Like they were stealing that to sell it to, bring the balance, or whatever.
Yeah, definitely there's some inside the influences regarding that, because we found out that one of the patrons of that bank was their inside man or inside woman in that particular case as well. And Matt knew this, but he had to take his priorities after people were escaping. And obviously, one of the bank robbers tried to dress up as a cop. And when he got out, he got the shit beaten out of him.
What
By
movie
Matt,
was
which is
that?
absolutely
That was
beautiful.
from a movie, and I couldn't pull it out of my brain.
Well, there's
Oceans?
well, there's that one movie with Bill Murray where he dresses up as a clown and he robs a bank, and then when people are being escorted out the bank, he pretends to be one of the hostages as they leave.
I don't know. It was somebody who dressed up like a cop and escaped or something like that. I don't remember.
Yeah. Hello, Daniel Vance. Welcome back. So, yeah, but I've seen that sort of trick being played before. I've seen, like, when people have tried to escape jail, they'll put on the warden's uniform, and stuff like that to get out and stuff like that. So, it's all been, regardless. It was a very entertaining episode. Some good fight scenes. We want to see more action. It's crazy that we haven't had any Daredevil until the following episode after the beginning of the first episode. So they've really paced this one out. And there were rumors that they weren't going to do much Daredevil until latter episodes. And I think they kind of stuck with that to a degree, but they've had some violent scenes and violent moments. But this was an episode that was truly about Matt Murdock and Yusuf Khan. There was nobody else in this episode. There's no Kingpin in this episode. No Vanessa. Nobody else. And I just think it was just an episode just designed to get Matt Murdock, back into vigilante ways.
And I mean, it would be interesting to know if this was a pre rewrite episode or if it was a post rewrite episode. Like, was this a bottle episode only because they did the rewrites, or was this a bottle episode because that's what they wanted for this episode and the narrative of the the new story? I liked the episode. I actually liked it a lot. I liked a lot of that. And honestly, I thought that the whole Yusuf Khan thing was going to be kind of cringe. And there was one point where he's like doing the whole come on, like the whole Ms. Marvel
Man,
sparkly
they
thing.
overdid it. They overdid it with the Ms.
Yeah.
Marvel thing. Like, like they're constantly reminding you, yes, I'm Kamala Khan's dad. I'm Kamala Khan's dad. I mean,
And
like,
Kamala,
yes,
well,
we
and they also
get
had to
it.
remind you Kamala Khan's Ms. Marvel, but we can't say that because obviously he doesn't want to give away his daughter's secret identity. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm just like, okay, that's like
You
me,
might
like
you
pulling
might
one of
as
these
well
down,
have.
like everything,
Yeah.
and being like, look, I have Johnny Bravo. I have Johnny Bravo. Look at that. And then he does the stupid thing where he's like trying to show it to him, and he's like, Matt Murdock's like, I can't see. That was kind of really the only cringe part for me. Everything else outside of that, like, as I said, like him just being like, oh, well, I'm blind, I can't see. Like, yeah, no shit. Like, why are we doing this gag now? You know what I mean? Like, I think it was just stupid. I don't know if they put that in there for laughs, but it just didn't land right with me. I was like, but I like the rest of the show and the interactions.
Yeah, it was a good team up. There was some controversy regarding Kamala Khan's dad, the actor in real life, but I guess nothing could come from that if they're still casting him. So, I mean, look, if they're willing to fire Jonathan Majors, but yeah, they're willing to cast this guy who was in Ms. Marvel and now we are having a cameo in this, a guest appearance, I guess.
I was about to say, I wouldn't say
this
was way more than a cameo, which I'm glad. I didn't want it just to be a cameo appearance.
No, but he was special guest, yeah. But he played a significant part, and Matt Murdock's a lucky guy because he's gonna go back to the Khan residence and he's gonna have himself some fresh parathas, which is something you need to try, my friend. Dip them in some nice curry, Look, I think you underestimate yourself with your spice levels. If you can eat tacos and stuff like that as a Mexican food, I'm sure you can dip in a nice bit of paratha in a nice bit of chicken tikka masala or butter chicken. You'll thank me later. Trust me, you'll love
Yeah,
it.
but my
I
butt won't thank you later. That's the
no, yeah,
problem.
it'll be fine. Trust me, it's worth it. And you know what? The butt thing is overrated. People make more of an issue of it than it is. As somebody who's eaten that sort of food, it's, it's no different to eating a ham salad sandwich. Anyway, I felt like they were trying to sell me the guy who fought back in the bank. If I were the leader of the bank robber, I'd released him for being a troublemaker instead
Who
of
are
a
we talking about,
blind man.
Matt Murdock? Because he did try to release him for being a
No,
troublemaker, but
what it was is that they tried to send two hostages out as a sign of good faith,
yeah,
and Matt Murdock was going to be one of those people to be sent out, and he insisted on staying. And like the bank robber wasn't really picking up his vibe. Like he should have picked up his vibe. Like, you know what, this blind guy, regardless, he's a bit too cool for my liking.
that
And
would
he
be
never
my
can.
first clue. Is I'm like, nah, you're a bit too suspicious here. I feel like I would rather have a scared guy pissing himself on the ground over here as a hostage than cool, confident, you know,
Hmm.
cool, confident
Blind,
lawyer who
yeah,
is blind. Like,
yeah, exactly. And he knew he was a lawyer as well. Like, yeah, he should have got rid of him. So
but then it wouldn't. Then the
I
show
agree.
wouldn't be Daredevil. Then the show would be
Yeah,
Kamala's dad.
yeah.
Kamala's dad, born again.
By the way, I noticed there were four f bombs dropped in this episode. Yeah, yes, there
Was there?
were four.
Yeah, mostly from the bad guys, but yeah, I don't know if there was. I don't
No, well,
remember how many
guys are not.
specifically there were.
Bad guys are not. Four f bombs were dropped in this episode. So is this a change we're getting from Disney now?
Yeah,
You
they've been
know,
changing since Wolverine, and that's as I said, they were gearing it more violent, more adult oriented.
yeah.
So that
What?
the changes start here at Daredevil Born Again. Like that this is kind of the point where Kevin Feige came in and kind of washed the slate. That's why they tried to salvage Falcon in the or not Falcon in the Winter, Captain America Brave New World. I just think it was too far done for them to make any changes that were, and I didn't hate the Captain America Brave New World. I didn't dislike it at all, but you could tell it was just hodgepodge together between different writers. You know what I mean? Like kind of like this show does have that too. We're not going to see that cohesiveness until we get past like this. This is that benchmark where Feige came in and kind of, you know, scorched earth and said, we have got to correct this ship. Otherwise we're doomed. Literally.
Yeah, but my issue with Disney is that they are their own worst enemy, being, so kid-like, family-orientated, that when you need to take stuff, push the bar up, and the bar for me is not necessarily about swear words. I mean, you want to mark this before I continue. You want to mark this episode? I think there's not much more to talk about.
Hmm. I mean, yeah, we can.
I'll give it an 8 out of 10.
I was going to give it a 7, but yeah, I mean, 8's fine.
I had good fun with this episode. I like seeing
I
Matt Murdock in being
Again,
in
I have no
control of the
complaints about
situation.
this episode. I don't know. A lot of people are talking online that the main bank robber, the main one looks like a Spider-Man Daredevil villain named Sin Eater. He actually carries around a shotgun, but like his shotgun like cleanses people of their sins or something. I don't know, some bullshit like that. But like it's like magic. But they like the green mask and like the outfit. Like look up Sin Eater and then look up this guy. Like they look very similar. So a lot of people are saying, oh, maybe that's going to be Sin Eater, and
If
in
anything, it's more likely to be like some sort of Easter egg caught.
yeah, that's what I'm thinking. It's just an Easter
Yeah.
egg. But I've heard a lot of talk online, and I'm like, I know who Sin Eater is. I mean, I noticed it as soon as he walked in, and I saw the green mask. I'm like, oh shit, that look. And he was in recent comic books, so that's why he's kind of fresh because he
Well,
originated in the '80s, and he a couple years ago was in some Spider-Man comic books, in a big
well,
deal.
Emergency Awesomes. I watched his review of this, and he made a good comment saying that if anything, they could be paying homage to Reservoir Dogs, where every bad guy was named after every bank robber was named after a color. So you had Mr. Red, Mr. Blue, Mr. Green, Mr. Yellow. Well, I mean, well, you didn't have Mr. Yellow, you had Mr.
I didn't
Blonde.
even think about that
Yeah,
one. Yeah.
yeah, which was a smart take. Yeah, they were Irish and stuff like that as well. It was on St. Patrick's Day. Hey, St. Patrick's Day, St. Patrick's Day. They're making a big deal about St. Patrick's Day. All the fucking time, and all the cops apparently drunk and shit like that. And by the way, I like the fact that Charlie Cox had to do an Irish accent, which he has done before. By the way, he played an Irishman in Boardwalk Empire, which is the first time I saw him. And there was a series called Kin about modern day Irish gangsters set in Ireland, where he plays an Irishman as well. And obviously, Matt Murdock being of Irish descent, him being able to do an Irish accent should be standard. There were a couple of times this episode that the beat from X-Men, the animated series, was used while Matt is doing Daredevil stuff. The way the scores blend is foreshadowing for sure. And yeah, I think also because he's with Yusuf Khan, whose daughter is apparently a mutant.
I was just gonna say, yeah, like that. I think that has more to do with the theme of the episode because yeah, Kamala is supposed to be a mutant now, not an Inhuman. So yeah, maybe it's a blend of like Miss Marvel's theme from the show. I don't know, but who knows? I mean, they're always throwing little Easter eggs in everywhere.
You remember how Miss Marvel ended with that?
Yeah, with the little theme playing.
Yeah. So. Yeah. Okay. All right. So as I was saying regarding up in the ante, up in the bar, we're getting that now in this series because some two stupid fucking fangirls in episode 6 decides to see Muse and goes, "Hey Muse, can we take a selfie with you? You're my favorite serial killer." Like, what the fuck? And yeah, of course he's gonna.
Well, I mean, apparently he's been putting He's famous for putting the murals up. They just found out. And are we moving on to the next episode then?
Yeah, episode 6.
I don't remember what the name of it is, and I already took down. Oh wait, I got it. Excessive Force. But apparently, Muse is actually known about doing the murals. They just didn't know it was in human blood, like mixed with human blood, until like they did till they did the testing and stuff like that when they couldn't get it off the walls. So Muse is known and they know about the murals, but they just didn't know the extent of how effed up the murals were until then. And I love Kingpin's response to the chief of police is like, how does the sanitation department find a serial killer in our city before the chief of police? I was like, oh shit, his shade.
What's bugging me about Muse a little bit is that he seems to be quite anti-Kingpin and anti corruption. Corruption.
Yeah.
But at the same time, he's a fucking serial killer. Like, what are you like, mate? Like, this is your what the fuck? Like, I find that really stupid. He kills innocent people, yet he's putting up art which is very anti-corruption, which is obviously trying to portray Kingpin as corrupted. Kingpin obviously, whether I think being the mayor, whether the guy was a serial killer who was against him or not, would probably want to stop this guy anyway. And yeah, he does get some people on board, but one of the first things we find out is that when he's dressing up for this elite party, he wears a suit and it rips, and you realize, yeah, he's bulking up. He's putting on a little bit of timber. And it won't be long until he's back to his old size again. Don't you think?
Probably. I mean, that's what I assume they're going for. Like they're giving him lots of protein. He's working out a lot. Like, so yeah. I memean, he's on his way. Regarding Muse, do you think it's somebody we know or somebody we don't?
Some people say it was the guy. It was the guy at the book signing.
That's what I thought too, but I'm like, they haven't really done any more foreshadowing beyond that, or not foreshadowing, but like they haven't done anything really with that since then. You know what I mean? Like it's kind of been he hasn't shown up in anything. He hasn't done anything else. If that was him, it was at the book signing, and then that's it. Like it's not even like I know that he was like going out like Matt. What was it? Was it Matt's girlfriend, the one signing the books? It's several episodes ago. I don't remember.
It was the therapist.
Yeah, the therapist girlfriend. So like, is you know, like as I said, I don't know. I kind of, I mean, it probably him, but like I don't know. I meant like somebody established. Like somebody said that guy was supposed to be a red herring. He was supposed to give us that vibe just so that we were off. Some people
Well,
said
I've
it was
already forgot.
Adam, and I'm like, no, it's not Adam. Like
Well,
and
it's obviously
obviously after
not
this episode, it can't
Adam.
be Adam.
um, yeah, we the moment at the near the beginning of the episode when Matt is saying a prayer for Foggy, and then later on before his girlfriend goes to work, she's like making fun of Matt for doing jobs with vigilantes, and it got me thinking, like, who has he worked with? And then we realize obviously Spider-Man, and he's
Punisher.
worked with Punisher, and he's worked alongside She-Hulk
Mm-hmm.
as well. And they're doing the Peter Parker Spider-Man thing where they're one and the same, but people don't realize that. They just think they know each other. And same with Matt Murdock and Daredevil. She assumes that Matt knows Daredevil, not realizing that Matt is Daredevil. So yeah, there's all of that going on. And maybe Matt has worked with. You can mention maybe Luke Cage and the Defenders, and we might have worked
He's
with Danny
worked with him,
Rand.
but I don't think he's like I think she was more referencing
No,
in
no,
court.
he definitely represented Jessica Jones in the Defenders.
Did he?
Yeah, definitely he
It's
was
been a
a
long time since I've watched
yeah,
Defenders, so I'll take your word for it.
yeah,
I don't
he
remember.
definitely. I remember that moment. Was that prayer for Foggy or for himself? He just needed Foggy's strength to keep him from losing himself to Daredevil. I don't know.
And then
Now
by
you
the end of the
mention it
episode,
like
he's just
that,
like, "Fuck it."
yeah.
I'm like, thank you. Like, I'm like, can we get to some Daredevil, please? Like, I
Well,
understand the buildup, I understand, but I'm just like, we've been here all before, where he's fighting against Daredevil and the demons, and we've done all this before. Can we just please get to the Daredevil of it all?
I think this show would have much more favorability with the fans if it was like a Netflix show where you could binge it all in one session, because the way these episodes are sporadically spread out, like you've got episodes where there's no action and stuff, and I have no problem with that to a degree, as long as the stories is good. Like I said, I enjoy watching Matt Murdock being a lawyer and all of that. But there are people who want to be satisfied with some. This is Daredevil. They want to see that Marvel action. I get it, and they and their issues are warranted. So the compromise, in my opinion, is that a show like this needs to be all released at one go and binged.
I mean, I don't like the binge method. I don't disagree with you. I think you're right in your points about the episode, like about how, like, yeah, they've been very sporadic with using Daredevil and stuff like that. So
Halloween.
I agree with you on that point. I just don't like the binging format. I don't like sitting down and trying to binge something but I agree with you. I think you're right that it probably would benefit from more of a binge format.
I like the water cooler release. Yeah, I'm with you on that, Daniel. Regarding that.
But it's
But
almost like, oh,
yeah.
I was
Go
gonna
on.
say it's almost like, because we got 2 episodes the first week, and then we got 2 single episodes, then we got 2 episodes this week, which is weird. I don't know why. Are they
Well,
trying to get it out before Andor? Is that what's going on?
I think the first there's a couple of things. First of all, if you remember, if they released episode 6 weeks, it would have been taken over a month until we saw fucking Matt Murdock back in the Daredevil suit again.
Mm-hmm.
So I think they released 2 episodes this week so we can get Matt Murdock being Daredevil, and obviously at the same time, get this shit over and done with before Andor.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking about the
Mm.
Andor thing. And I mean, as I said, I think you do feel the drag in the first episodes. Again, I really enjoyed the bank episode. I felt like the bank episode should have been. I mean, episode 3 seems like it's just right. Like, what happened in episode 3 that really made it substantial? Anything? I don't even. I'd have to go
That
back
was
and
the
watch.
episode. No, that was the episode where he he stopped White Tiger from being convicted.
Oh, that was a pretty good episode. Maybe I'm thinking of episode 4.
That was the episode where Matt Murdock was the lawyer.
Yeah, and I don't mind
Episode
that. As I said, I like that episode.
One thing, if you didn't hear me earlier, Winnie, hello. I think this week was supposed to line up. It was supposed to line up to St. Patrick's Day. Yeah, it's fair enough. I get it. Yeah, so
I thought that was weird too, but I'm like, it's only a week off, right? Has it been 1 or 2
yeah,
weeks since St. Patrick's Day? But
it was last week, but
yeah.
so but there's a lot happening in this episode. For a start, we get another cameo in the Swordsman.
Oh yeah, I did notice the swordsman cameo. He seems different though. He's not like this goofball anymore. Like he was always like he was just a goofball.
He was in character. I've always said that he was playing a character. Remember, like when and I called it, by the way, in Hawkeye, that he was supposed to be this villain, and I knew he wasn't. That he was the red herring. Somebody else was going to be the villain, and I called it. And he's now a hero, and he's a vigilante himself. And you can see his conversation with Wilson Fisk didn't go anywhere really. And Wilson told, and it's so much so that Wilson told him, "Yeah, you can call me Mr. Mayor," which I like. So he kind of shows you where they stand, for a start. But yeah, he's the swordsman, and it was good to see him. And fun enough, he was in the same series that he and Fisk were both in Hawkeye. So it makes sense that
there really needed to be crossover between them, because there was a lot that was a lot that crossed over there. You know what I mean? Like obviously Wilson Fisk, but like there needed to be some on top of that, like the criminal families and stuff like that. Like that, all that stuff kind of. I'm surprised. I mean, I know they've made mention of Maya, but like they haven't like referenced her specifically. He's just said stuff about, oh, I had a protege that I trained, and it's like, I wouldn't mind her coming back for an episode. I thought that the episode with her and Hawkeye was actually really good. I wouldn't mind. And honestly, Daredevil and Maya or Echo have fought before, so I'm like, I wouldn't be upset if they had an episode where she came.
Well,
back.
she's in the wilderness somewhere, so it's trying to figure out a way of getting her from there to there. Why would she want to come? She's trying to get away from Wilson, and now she's coming back, and Wilson himself has had enough of her. So yeah, it's a bit weird. I don't know. I mean, I think there's some people that have come out in the Marvel universe that if we never saw again, I wouldn't give a fuck, like the Eternals.
Yeah.
If we never saw them again, I mean, they brought out Thanos' brother and shit. That's gone nowhere. Nobody's talking about that. All of this, so much shit has gone nowhere. That's why these recent phases have been absolute failures. What else happened in this episode? I think we got a lot of Fisk in this episode. We got him doing the task force with the police.
Yep.
Which was,
we have not seen the Punisher skull though. Like we saw it on like the one that shot White Tiger, but like apparently the anti-vigilance task force is the one that's supposed to have like the Punisher logo on their vest.
Yeah,
and that's what I thought they were going to reveal here, but they didn't.
No, because Fisk is no fan of the Punisher. You know what I mean? He hates fucking Frank Castle. And Frank Castle hates him.
But I think that's going to be the common denominator, pulling all these guys together. Remember, they're like, he handpicked all these people. They're probably all people with that Punisher tattoo.
I have to mention this before I forget.
Okay.
One of the issues that is bothering me is that a lot of these police officers don't like vigilantes, but at the same time idolize the Punisher, who is a vigilante. I just find that fucking weird. And this is the Punisher who is not a cop. He's not a cop. He's a fucking. He's a former military guy, so he's not a cop. Like the old Punisher was. This version of the Punisher is like a Gulf War veteran.
Well, the Punisher in the comic books was a vet as well, but then he was also a cop. Like he was in like the Vietnam War or the Korean War or something like that.
Fair enough. But this guy has not been a cop, and so the fact that the cops are idolizing a vigilante, and Punisher is not somebody who's not known. He's not like he was in that courtroom where he said, "I am the Punisher," and everyone knows that he's Frank Castle and all of that. So I'm kind of surprised that people who despise vigilantes are symbolizing a vigilante on their outfits, and I'm not surprised that Wilson Fisk gave them uniforms where the Punisher logo is not on it because obviously he doesn't want to symbolize him. You know, I'm surprised he hasn't got KP on their fucking shirts or whatever. Regardless,
KP.
regardless, he told them not to wear masks. He's against masks. You know, and I think there's a symbolism there regarding vaccines and stuff like that. So he's against masks. Don't cover your face. You know, I want you to show your face and stuff like that. And now he's going to have all his special task force going around kicking ass and probably being a little bit unlawful in them getting the job done.
That's what I was going to say earlier. Is that's what I think about. They love about the Punisher is that he just goes around killing people, like without they want to be like the Punisher, where they feel like they're judge and jury and executioner, just like the Punisher, but they still want to be cops. Whereas Punisher's like, no, I'm a vigilante. I'm a horrible person. I know that, but I'm going to do it, and I'm going to do it on my terms. Whereas these cops still want to like be cops and do all this other shady shit, and that's the difference between these guys and Frank, is that they just want to idolize him because they want to be able to do whatever the hell they want and get away with it.
Yeah, it's not about the Punisher, but the symbol. Yeah, I see. I mean, I don't want to keep going around in circles here, Danny, but the symbol is that of a vigilante. I'm just saying, like they're still idolizing somebody, who. I mean, the only difference between him and maybe other vigilantes is that this guy kills.
Mm-hmm.
So, but at the same time, if they knew who Frank Castle was, they would realize that this is the same guy who was willing to sacrifice his own life once he thought he killed sex workers, because he killed innocent people regardless of them being sex workers. And that's the sort of person Frank Castle is, which is why I don't look at him as an anti-hero. I look at him as a hero. There's moments where he shows his paternal side quite often. He's not homophobic or anything like that. None of these things. A lot of these things, and it's crazy that a lot of people in the real world who wears the Punisher logo are nothing like Frank Castle. Frank Castle,
they just think it's a cool symbol.
Yeah, exactly. They just want to stoke fear on sight. Oh, yeah, fair enough. So that was just my opinion on him. Anything else about regarding this episode?
The fight scenes between, like, the cut back and forth between Daredevil and Muse and Kingpin and Adam.
I started to, like that moment when, before we get there, but when Kingpin but you could tell Kingpin as a mayor, he's finding things really difficult because he's restricted, with he having to do things legally. When he was Kingpin, Wilson Fisk, the gangster, the mob boss, he could do what he wants, how he wants, because nobody could say shit to him. This time around, he doesn't, and you can see the restrictions are pissing him off, which, pardon me, boils over in the surface, which is why I felt that he fought Adam, because he needed to vent. He really needed to vent. You can see the guy's a fucking ticking time bomb. When that tracksuit mafia guy came to him, he would have killed him in his office if he could.
Oh, yeah.
If he could.
I'm surprised he didn't. I'm surprised he didn't, like,
I'm not
crack
surprised.
At that point.
I'm not surprised at that point, because I think he's got some level of control, but he needs to vent regardless. He can't afford to kill this guy in his. The moment he kills the guy in his office, he's done for as mayor.
Yeah,
I'm reminded.
I was like,
yeah.
But that's why the dude went to see him in his office, because he probably knew he couldn't do anything.
Yeah, exactly. But eventually, like it was bubbling over, having to talk with the police and stuff like that, and getting this task force done. It really was bubbling over, and he finally needed to rent out on Adam, and he brought an axe down, and I thought, shit, he's gonna chop Adam to pieces. But he goes, no, I fought guys bigger than me, and once you get a weapon in the hand, you have an equalizer. And he gave him an equalizer. But there was no chance, and I fucking loved it. I've always like this version of Kingpin is psychotic. I've always seen Kingpin be, and I know yes, obviously the Marcus the what's the name of the actor from the Ben Affleck movie who played Kingpin?
Oh, Michael Clark Duncan.
Michael Clark Duncan. He played him in a psychotic manner to a degree, but Vincent D'Onofrio is really like thrown down the psycho. Like you can see he's like he's finding it really hard to contain. You know, he's absolutely fucking nuts, and I love
Yep.
it. But I've also loved the fact that and I want to see more of this from Kingpin. That he's quite abnormally strong. You know, I like seeing that. I like seeing his strength on display. You
But
know, he's
not
very
not as
strong.
ridiculous as they did in Hawkeye, though. Like that was for me, that was a bit much. I get that the Kingpin's supposed to be this like almost superhuman character in the comics, but I'm like, it doesn't translate well in real life, as we saw
Well,
in the
this is the
last
thing.
episode of Hawkeye.
This is the thing. I and people will disagree with him, but I almost see him at a similar level, not the same, a similar level to someone like Cap. You know, like the guy is freakishly strong. I just seen like him like taking out a pillar, which holds up a building to use it and swing with it. I mean, the guy's just crazily strong, and I want to see a bit. I mean, not just the psychopathic parts of him and him beating the shit out of people, but I want to see that strength. I really want to see that fucking strength, from him as well. But the guy is fucking strong, and yeah. Regardless, with the cut between him and obviously Daredevil, who decides to go back to being Daredevil again to save what's her face.
I
What's
think
her
he's going to
face?
try to make it a one-off. I don't think he's back to Daredevil. But I think he's going to, he did that just to go save. He did that just to go save White Tiger's niece, right? Niece or daughter? I don't remember. I think
White
niece.
Tiger's niece.
I
Yeah.
think he went back like once, and he's going to try to keep it that once because obviously he doesn't want Fist to know that he donned the cowl again. But like I mean, obviously he's not going to be able to stay away from it.
I agree, but I don't know. I mean, I hope that's not the case.
Yeah,
Personally,
that's where I feel like that's where it's going. That's the annoying part. As I said, we've been here before. That's my only problem with this season is that we've been here with Matt Murdock struggling with Daredevil, like the Daredevil persona before. You know what I mean? Like,
so we're likely to get a slower episode next week.
probably a
I wouldn't
backstory
mind
on
seeing.
Muse. Maybe we'll finally
I
get
will.
the.
I would want to see Bullseye come back at some point as well. So I figure out a way of getting him out of jail. With his hands are deadly weapons. If they let him hold anything, he'll fucking use it as a way of getting out of jail. But regardless, the fight with Muse was pretty good. But you could see that Matt's a little bit rusty. He was a bit rusty when he was fighting the cop, and he was a bit rusty when he was fighting Muse. Not being Daredevil for as long as he has been.
Yeah, they don't have the episode name out for next. I was gonna say I feel like next week is gonna be a backstory on Muse episode. Like I feel like that's where we're gonna figure out his origin, maybe who he is.
Which was Full Metal Jacket, which starred D'Onofrio. Yeah, he was brilliant in that. He got bullied to fucking shit. The actor who plays Private Joker, I was watching him in 0 Day. I forgot his name, but regardless, yeah, he was also the guy, the bug man in
Men in Black.
Men in Black.
Yeah, that was his first. That was Vincent D'Onofrio's first role.
No, it wasn't. Full Metal Jacket was.
Oh, was it? Oh,
maybe.
I thought he said his first role was. I might be wrong. I don't. Maybe.
No, I think it was like his first like major lead role. Like
maybe
he was like the big bad of that episode of that movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, he had a significant role in Full Metal Jacket, but he killed himself in the first third of the movie, first half almost. After killing his
So I mean, maybe that's what he meant. It was like his first major role.
Yeah. So, anyways, God, I'm losing myself regarding this fucking episode, but that you can see Muse taking people's blood and stuff like that. It's weird that how his look is quite similar to White Tiger. They both wear white. They both got like lines in their outfit and stuff like that. But Muse is way more dirtier and stuff. He's a decent fighter. He gave Matt a run for his money, even though we all knew Matt was going to kick the shit out of him eventually. And Matt came close to possibly killing him until he started hearing maybe the heart of what's her face not beating anymore, which is where he stopped.
Yeah,
from doing what he did, and he saves her, but Muse gets away. Muse lives to fight another day. See what happens in the future. I've heard that he will be in season 2, so
Muse will.
that's what I've heard from Emergency Awesome.
Oh, okay. I mean, I haven't seen that, but I mean, I just did you talk about the review for this episode?
Regarding this episode, yeah, I mean, I heard,
Okay.
yeah, like I said,
I haven't had a chance to watch it.
And what's his face? Adam being killed by the Kingpin was beautiful. Like the way I said, he beat the.
So
fuck
he was
out of
dead.
him.
I wasn't sure if he was dead or not.
No, no, he wasn't. No, he wasn't dead. Actually, I take that back. He looked like he was still breathing, but the amount of blows once he incapacitated him, the amount of blows Kingpin hit to that guy's head, he should have killed him.
Yeah, pretty much.
Especially with his level of strength, you punch him in the head, while he's incapacitated, he's dead.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, I thought he was dead when they started that fight. I'm like, oh yeah, he's dead.
Exactly. So,
because at the end he said, "What did he say? Like my Vanessa or something like that." Like,
and you could see once what he did to that guy, you could see that, like the release, like he's at peace. Like he's vented his frustrations. He's beat the fuck. Like he needs to beat the fuck out of somebody. He really does. So, and I like that about him. It was really good.
Hey, W. Dill from Kick.
Welcome
to the stream.
So, I guess that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
Matt's back as Daredevil again. Whether he'll be Daredevil for long, who knows? He's got all these other helmets for all these different colored suits, so we're going to start seeing these different colored suits, like the black suit and all that sort of stuff.
Probably not.
I hope so.
Again, I don't think he's going back to just being Daredevil. You know what I mean? Like, I think he's going to try to keep it as a one-off. He's going to keep struggling with the persona, blah 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 blah. As I said, it's just kind of. Again, that's the only thing I don't like about this season is that whole struggle that we're still going through.
I want him to go to Kamala Khan's house and have some paratha and just have an interaction of some sort between him and Kamala. I know she's in California, and there happens to be quite a fair few Marvel characters in Los Angeles right now, including obviously the Pym family and the Lang family. And She-Hulk's there as well, and I think Wonder Man's going to be there when he comes into play.
I mean, he's supposed to be a movie actor, so I guess.
Yeah, so there's going to be a few. Oh, there's definitely another one. Oh, Shang-Chi, he's in San Francisco.
Yeah, you're right. He's in San Francisco.
Yeah, so yeah, it'll be interesting to see.
All they need to do is bring the Eternals out there, and then they can just not matter just as much.
Yeah. So anyway, she's in there. She's recruiting the Young Avengers. Where by the time Disney gets around to it, they'll all be in their fucking 30s.
Yep, pretty much is where that's why I was very upset that they changed Kang Dynasty to Doomsday. Like I'm like. Kang Dynasty needed to be our Young Avengers backdoor movie. Like it needed to be the Young Avengers versus Kang, like the comic books, and then they can move on to Secret Wars, and it could be the big blowout war.
Watching Emergency, I keep going back to Emergency Awesome. Apparently, it's not going to be a movie now. It's going to be a TV series. It's going to be a TV series.
What is
Young Avengers?
Whatever. I mean, that's fine. Like I was looking forward to Kang Dynasty being a backdoor Young Avengers movie, and then they could have done a series after that. Sure, why not? I don't care. But I'm over it right now with Marvel. I'm not feeling our. I mean, not that we're talking too much about but they just announced the cast list for for Doomsday today. Did you see that list?
No, is it
Oh
big?
yeah, there's a whole list. There's a whole video where it goes through all the chairs and everybody who's in there. So hold on.
Is Daredevil in it?
Nope. Tom
Damn.
Holland's not in it. Now maybe they're saving him
Interesting.
for a later surprise, but hold on. Let me bring up the list. We might as well talk about it since we're talking Marvel anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So hold on, somebody posted it earlier. All right, so everybody that was on the chair that was in this video is Robert Downey Jr., of course, Chris Hemsworth, Tom Hiddleston, Simu Liu, which is the Shang-Chi, Sebastian
Yep.
Stan, Florence Pugh, Wyatt Russell, the guy who plays Namor, I don't remember his name, Anthony Mackie, Paul Rudd, Lolita Wright, Vanessa Kirby, Ebon Moss, the guy who plays the Thing, Lewis Pullman, who is playing Sentry in Thunderbolts, Kelsey Grammer, Danny Ramirez, who plays the Falcon.
Kelsey Grammer, he's playing the Beast.
He's playing the Beast.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't say Kelsey Grammer as the Beast, but he was on the cast list that they released, and this is an official Marvel release. This is not like a spread, like a dirt sheet or anything. Like this is on a Marvel's official channel. They released this. You should okay. Joseph Quinn, which is the Human Torch, the new Human Torch. David Harbour, Winston Duke, which is M'Baku. The Hannah Joan Kamen, which is the Ghost. Patrick Stewart, Ian McKellen, Alan
Patrick
Cumming.
Stewart.
Yep, Patrick Stewart, Ian McKellen. Alan Cumming, who played Nightcrawler.
I mean, Nightcrawler. Yeah, I know Alan Cumming, the Scottish actor.
Rebecca Romaine.
Oh my god.
And James Marsden.
Oh my god.
Go watch this video when we're done here. Like that's the so we're gonna so far what's been announced, at least in the cast list, is Robert Downey as Dr. Doom, Thor, Loki, Shang-Chi, the Winter Soldier, Bucky Barnes, Black Widow, Florence Pugh, the U.S. Agent, Namor, Captain America, Anthony Mackie, or Sam Wilson, Paul Rudd, which is Ant-Man, Lolita Wright, which is playing Shuri, the Black Panther, Sue Storm, The Thing, Sentry, Beast, the new Falcon, the Human Torch, Red Guardian, M'Baku, Ghost, Professor X, Magneto, Nightcrawler, Mystique, and Cyclops. Like that's the cast list that Marvel officially released today.
Well, there's a fair few people in there, but there's a fair few people who aren't. I mean, you mentioned Tom Holland's not in there.
Doctor Strange isn't even on there.
And like I believe Quinn's not in there. Star-Lord. I know he's on Earth at the moment. He's not in there, let alone any of the other Guardians.
And I mean, yeah, you're right. Maybe they didn't announce all the names, but this felt like a very big announcement. Like they were announcing.
No, I never said they didn't announce all the names. I'm not surprised. I just feel like there's a whole bunch of names who are in the Avengers movie who are not in this. Sorry, in Endgame who are not in this.
Mm-hmm. Hawkeye's not on there. Bruce Banner's not on there.
Those are big ones.
Yeah.
Those are original Avengers, like top tier.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm like, this is kind of a weird cast list. Now, maybe they are. Maybe they plan on releasing another. Maybe they plan on releasing another. Oh God.
I feel like they're going to try and introduce the X-Men here, which is.
Well, I mean, obviously, you've got Professor X, Magneto, Nightcrawler, Mystique, Cyclops, and Beast. I mean, there are X-Men right there.
Yeah,
but it's already like a stack. Like I was not expecting X-Men in this. I mean, Fantastic Four, yes, because it's Dr. Doom. However, they were going to pull it together, I was kind of expecting that. But
I like, for instance, like Kelsey Grammer, he's not going to be in blue makeup. He's just going to be voicing an animated character.
Yeah, just like at the end of Captain Marvel or Captain Marvel 2.
the official comics reveal more. I don't want to spoil what's happening behind the scenes. Fair enough. And yeah, it might not necessarily be exactly the same. Like, excuse me, I just finished watching Invincible season 3, and by the way, it's very, very good. I should have done I did do a review of it. It's on the YouTube. But like The Boys, Invincible season 3 is now going a different direction to the comics. So
here, I just wanted to bring this up really quick. So this is the thing.
Okay.
Might as well bring it up, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to remove this to make this a bit bigger. Okay. So here's the. I don't know if I want it that big because I don't want to get hit with copyright. But
Well, it's copyright either way, dude. But yeah, just do it this size.
Well, I'm not doing the music either. But I mean, so Vanessa Kirby, Anthony Mackie.
So you're gonna have like there's one with Lolita Wright. She's Black Panther.
Yeah.
World. White Russell.
Yep, U.S. Agent. I don't.
I'm a bit 50-50 on U.S. Agent because he's supposed to be like a failed
there's a
Captain
couple
America.
Thunderbolts members in there, and that's why I'm like, why are the Thunderbolts in here? Like, why do we need the Thunderbolts? We don't like. And also, it kind of spoils people who survive the movie because everybody's like, oh, it's a Suicide Squad. Anyone can die. And it's like, well, not really.
David Harbour, yeah, like. I really hope they give him a vibranium shield in Thunderbolts.
He has a shield, so they might.
He hasn't got his last shield wasn't vibranium though.
No, not his last one. No, no,
he made it himself. He made
the one that he made at the end of the show. Oh, and Channing Tatum. I forgot about him. And Pedro Pascal, obviously, Reed Richards. So I forgot about those last two. They weren't on this list here.
What's he saying?
No, he just hushes and walks away. I don't know. He might say something. I don't think he does.
Boy, he's so desperate for a hit. The guy's got more money than God, but he still wants to fucking have a movie that's successful.
I know that. So. I don't like the. I don't like the Doctor Doom. No, like whether he's Victor Von Doom or Tony Stark as Doctor Doom. I don't like it.
Was there Shang-Chi on there?
Yeah, he was in there. Yeah.
Okay.
Sam, what's his name? Shao. I don't remember his name.
Simu Liu, I think.
Simu Liu, yeah. He's in there.
Was Ms. Marvel there?
No. I did not
Surprise.
see her.
That's a big one not being
exactly
there.
That's what I'm saying. Like but this is something official really. So that means that either there might be more people, like there might be more names.
Huh? Proton's not there. Ms. Marvel, Captain Marvel, Proton. None
what was
of
the
those
actress's name? I don't remember.
I forgot her name.
Yeah, as I said, I mean, maybe Ebon Moss. Wait, who's Ebon Moss? And that might be her. No, Ebon Moss is the guy who plays Thing. Name. Yeah, he's the plays the Thing. I'm just kind of paging through here really quick looking. There's one name I wasn't sure about. This one. Who is this? I'm gonna bring it up again.
No Spider-Man, but he's now on vigilante duty, isn't he? Maybe
that's what I mean. It's like level. It's just who's this person? Tenok Hubra.
That's not what's his face?
That's what I'm looking him up now.
Oh, God.
He's a Mexican actor. Oh, that's the guy who plays Namor. Never mind.
Yeah, I was thinking that.
So Namor is going to be in it, but so anyway, as I said, it's a very weird list. Yeah, I mean, I don't mind them scaling back the Avengers movies. Like, I don't mind, but I just, I feel like it's just like, why are we bringing the X-Men in before Secret Wars? And the Russos are doing this movie, so I trust the Russos. I really do. But I'm like,
I do, but they haven't had a hit since Endgame.
That's true.
Yeah, it's a bit like It's a bit like the Wachowski sisters, who when they were the Wachowski brothers. I mean, they were like a couple of director siblings as well. Um, they helped make one of my favorite movies of all time, in The Matrix. But the reality is that since that movie, including the sequels, nothing has come out as great as that film, not even remotely.
Yeah, I agree.
Whilst the Russos did do well with Winter Soldier and Civil War, and I'm not sure if they did Infinity War.
But that's why I'm trying to figure out, like, why are we involving the X-Men? Like, are these the X-Men? Like, are these going to be the X-Men from the Fantastic Four, like the new Fantastic Four universe? You know, like, or are these going to be the same
They're gonna get
X-Men?
shoot in somehow. They're gonna get shoot
Yeah, and
in.
that's why I'm just like, I don't know. I don't want them shoehorned in. And I get it, multiverse, but I'm like, I don't. Deadpool and Wolverine was great because it was Cameo City. You got Channing Tatum coming, Gambit's coming back. You know, Nightcrawler, Cyclops, no Wolverine, no Hugh Jackman, and I don't
Yeah.
need him. I'm not complaining that he's not in there. I don't mind the ball hogs not being in there. You know what I mean? Like, I don't mind. You know,
I don't mind Channing Tatum coming back, but please don't wear that fucking thing on your head. Please, it really, I don't know why, but it fucking triggers me when I see it. But I'm seeing this, like, why are you wearing something like that? And I
because
know
he's
it
a thief,
is,
mon ami.
but that, like, I just think of like the Batman outfits where they couldn't move their necks.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it looked very funny, but I know they were going for comic book accurate out of a
I
gag,
get it.
probably,
Yeah.
but like I think the character got such a and maybe they'll change it. Maybe he won't have that so much in this movie. Like, maybe they'll change it up and drop it back a little bit. But
Well, it's funny because as much as people wanted Gambit to be played by Channing Tatum, I don't think he resembles the animated version of Gambit whatsoever. Channing Tatum, you
no, not
know,
really at all. I don't. I mean, yes, he has the Cajun roots. Like, Channing Tatum does have that Southern Cajun roots, but Incursion with Earth 616, when Samuel Stearns is talking about the other good guys, he's referring to the X-Men universe. Only one universe can survive. I mean, maybe and again, that's probably why Doctor Doom is, and I'm sure this is going to end with Battle World, you know, the end of all worlds or whatever. So we'll see. Anyway, Marvel's put everything in motion. Well, it's about time. They really could have been doing this a while ago, and they started with Kang, and then they stopped, and then they pivoted to like Doctor Doom. And I again, I could go on for hours about this
this is the
dumbass
most
Doctor Doom.
pointless fucking Avengers get together. I mean, somebody said it better that after every phase they should have an Avengers movie, you know, or something that resembles an Avengers movie,
Civil War.
like a Civil War, you know, something, you know, among those lines, because you know, when they did something like Age of Ultron, you know, even though it's a connective tissue, it never really necessarily felt like an Avengers movie that is part of a bigger thing. But it still is an Avengers movie, and sometimes these movies, they don't have to be about a grander picture. It could just be about the Avengers having to get together and dealing with a problem. I wouldn't mind fucking, you know, Hydra coming back. You know,
You just
um,
want more Nazis. Get out of here. We already got
you never
enough of
go.
those nowadays.
Yeah, you can't go wrong with Nazis, man. You know,
No, I
like
mean, I don't disagree with you. I kind of wish Kang Dynasty was going to happen. And as I said, I don't mind Avengers Doomsday. I just think it's the wrong time. I think it needs to happen later. You know, like, I think Avengers Doomsday needs to be after. And that's why I was excited for Kang Dynasty, because we have a chance to have like a different type of Avengers movie that's not just like smashing all of our toys together. Like, we could get a new team together. It doesn't have to be like all of the mainstays. I don't need all of them. But you know, like, you do need some big name stays, but then throw some other ones in there. Like, I like the including the Fantastic Four in this one, because obviously Doctor Doom's involved. If you were going to do Kang, you could throw the Young Avengers in there for Kang Dynasty. You know, and even the Fantastic Four, because the Fantastic originally Kang was in Fantastic Four. He is a Fantastic Four villain originally. So
Well,
go ahead.
no, I'm just thinking, like, for me, some of these superhero movies, it would have been nice, like especially Ant-Man, Quantumania. It would be nice if Kang had won that encounter,
I agree.
and on top of that, I really want to see movies where the titular character is the villain. You know, like what we got with the Penguin. Which was, did you watch the Penguin?
Yeah.
It was superb.
Oh yeah,
It was
absolutely.
super,
It was fantastic.
and I want to see shows or movies where we're seeing it from the villain's perspective. They are the main character, and the goody two shoes are the secondary character.
Yeah, I think they tried that with Agatha all along, and it just didn't it didn't work as like
Agatha
a
became an
bad guy
anti-hero,
series.
dude. The anti-hero, though, man.
I know that's what I mean. It didn't work. They anti-heroed her. Like, no, you're right. They need, they need to make like an Avengers Infinity War where the movie's mostly about the bad guy, but make it more like a series or something like that.
And Agatha has not always been a villain in the comics as well. She's worked alongside the Avengers and the good guys and stuff like that. So, um, yeah, they did they did the wrong thing with her. But I don't know. I just I'm a big fan of villains in their stories and their perspectives, and them being the main character. That's why I love films like not American History X, yeah, American History X to a degree, but American Psycho, where you're following the psycho Jeffrey Dahmer, where you're following Dahmer,
Mhm.
stuff like The Sopranos, and obviously the Penguin, which was fantastic. When you're the main character are irredeemable bad people and you're following them, it's just great. So, but anyway, let's mark episode 6.
Oh God, I
Uh,
forgot we didn't mark it yet.
I'm gonna give episode 6 and 8.
I'm gonna give mine. I'm gonna give episodes probably. Uh, I'm gonna give it another 7. I don't know. I mean, as I said, it's good. I don't have too many complaints about it, but
Lots of cameos and references. And by the way, we got a reference in episode 5 when he mentioned I'm a very good lawyer. He told that to Kamala Khan's dad,
that's what
which
he
was a
told
funny
Peter Parker.
moment. Yeah, so that was a good moment. Like I said, I want to see him at Kamala Khan's house having paratha. I want all of
Hopefully,
you
it's an
guys to
after
have
credit at the
paratha.
end of the last episode.
But I want to see more than that. He sends Doctor Octopus, Doctor Doom, Smythe, Red Skull, and the Lizard off to destroy a peaceful planet and leave Spider-Man to save it with his own selective team.
Oh yeah, you're talking about the end of the animated series Spider-Man. Yeah,
Yeah,
that animated. Yeah, the animated series Secret Wars was really fun. I mean, I liked it. I thought it had problems, but it was what I think a 3-parter. I think maybe 2 or 3-parter. But it was really good for a 90s cartoon.
yeah. It was great. That was the MCU. I mean, all of those cartoons, but they're all part of the same universe. That the Hulk and Fantastic Four and X-Men, they all shared the same universe and stuff like that.
That's why I'm kind of sad they're kind of dragging their feet on the animated series universe. Like X-Men 97. Like I know we're getting more X-Men 97, but like they need to hit the ground with this stuff. They need to do a Spider-Man 98, like which or 99 or whatever it would be. They need to do a new Avengers cartoon, which is kind of based on the Avengers of that universe. Give us something different. But make it in that universe. The animated universe is ripe right there and people are clamoring for it since X-Men 97.
Yeah, I agree, and it was well done. And obviously, making sure it's grown up as well. You can't, with the people who watch that shit, they're not kids anymore. So do what you do with X-Men '97, and make sure the show's grown up with its audience,
Yep,
which is
absolutely.
for sure. All right, so yeah, we talked a lot of Marvel. Looking forward to some more Marvel tomorrow. You'll be happy to know is we're taking a break from the Star Trek reviews of the original series, and we're going to be going back to some of our usual programming because the Dark Side of the Ring is back, and the first episode is about the Hell in the Cell between Mick Foley and Undertaker, the famous Hell in the Cell match. It is more of a Mick Foley, generally, I would say, episode of Dark Side of the Ring, but I watched it. Cheeto's yet to watch it, and we'll be reviewing that tomorrow. So keep an eye out for that.
And we'll try to rope in Jose because he's our he's our wrestling guy.
Yeah, exactly. So, all right. So, thank you very much for watching, Cheeto and everyone else out there. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe to NerdTube, the greatest social media channel you never heard of. Take care now. Bye bye.